What advice would I give to somebody to make their show, more entertaining? I have three pieces of advice, all that I have learned from and all that I have implemented to hopefully improve the quality of my show, make it more entertaining, and make it more watchable. First things first, you need to overcome the difficulty of being on camera and become more natural and comfortable on camera and microphone. There's only one way that I can think of doing this, because this is not a natural skill. This is not something that people are born with. They don't just come out of the birth canal, jump in front of a camera and say, "Hey, I'm wonderful on camera." I'm sure there are some people who do that, but that's a small minority. That's not a common thing. The only way to overcome this and become comfortable on camera and microphone is through repetition. That means you're either going to have to just tough it out through all your videos and all your streams and all your recordings and whatever, or you can practice. That's what I opted for. That's the route that I went. I was not happy with the quality of my performance or persona or front or whatever you want to call it, my personality on camera and microphone. It was unnatural. It was uncomfortable. I hated it. So to overcome that, over a 2-year period, I think I recorded 500 little audio diaries to practice being on microphone. That's 500 chances I got to practice being on mic and become more comfortable with hearing myself and speaking more spontaneously and hopefully being more enjoyable to listen to and being able to riff a bit more and play off of my insecurities and mock myself and do this and that to hopefully make it a little bit more engaging and hopefully more natural, because speaking on microphone is not a natural thing. It's weird. It's super weird to hear yourself, and you hate hearing yourself in your headphones most of the time, but after 500 recordings, you kind of get to the point where you say, whatever, that's just the voice. That's just what it is. You're forced to get used to it because you can't hate yourself 500 days in a row. Or maybe you can. I don't know. I guess I have for a lot more than 500 days. I hate myself all the time. Anyway, that was a bit dark, but that's what I would recommend. Practicing being on camera, practicing being on microphone, and becoming more comfortable and natural on both mediums, because that is not a natural skill to have. Secondly, I'm going to recommend preparing before you start recording or streaming. When we start out, we don't have an audience large enough to, carry the entire stream or provide guidance on your videos to make sure that they're entertaining the entire time. So in order to overcome that, we need to put in a little bit more work before we start recording or streaming. We may look at people like Joe Rogan and the No Agenda Show and say, well, they go 3 hours without doing much preparation. They just pull it up and they go. They're so good. Well, guess what? We're not them. We're not Joe Rogan. We're not Adam Curry. We're not John C. Dvorak. So we can't do that. We need to put in a bit more work and understand that our skills are not at that level, and we need to value our audience's time. So by creating an outline, that's what I'm recommending you do. Create an outline for your show, for your stream, for your video, whatever it is you're doing, because that will give you guidance on what you're doing next. It will eliminate the downtime where you're fumbling around in the dark saying, oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about next? Or if you're streaming, sitting there for 5 minutes in complete silence. If you're streaming, make a list of topics that you want to discuss and discuss them, because I can tell you, if you go into a stream and the person is sitting there dead silent, not saying anything, and the gameplay isn't particularly interesting or amazing or downright incredible, you're going to bounce right out and move on. You need to make the stream, the podcast, the video engaging right off the bat, because you never know who's going to come in and you never know which podcast or video is going to be somebody's first impression of you. So do preparation before you hit record and before you start streaming or publishing or anything. And the last piece of advice is we need to be honest with ourselves about our strengths and our weaknesses. I know, I'll use myself as an example so you can hear the self-deprecation. I know that my personality is quite terrible and would not carry or would not make people want to watch me daily. That means that I am going to understand my weakness and I am not going to develop a content strategy that is focused around people watching me for my personality. So I'm not going to start a daily vlog because who would want to watch me sitting around eating popcorn all day? Probably nobody. So I'm not going to do that. Also, I know there are very few people who are mentally unstable enough to do what I have done with my videos. It takes somebody who is autistic as heck to sit down every... I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. I'm going to say it. I'm totally on the spectrum. I can say that. Nobody is mentally unstable enough as me to make the exact same video hundreds of times, changing nothing but the thing that you're talking into. That takes somebody who is far down the autism spectrum to do. And I would say that's my superpower. So I'm totally offending so many people. So I am going to use that as a strength. I am going to create a catalog of videos that I think are incredibly valuable and useful to my viewers. So you need to determine what your strengths are. For example, are you an incredibly likable person? Then maybe you can make a daily vlog. Maybe you can make one of these channels like Jack Sucks at Life or Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie or Casey Neistat, where you are charismatic, likable, you can just talk, and people want to hang out with you. Because ultimately that's what a lot of streams are, that's what a lot of videos are. They are personality-based, and that personality is just somebody that we want to spend time with and feel as though we're hanging out with them. If that's you, use that strength to your advantage. Make personality-driven content, daily vlogs, comedy bits, just hanging out and ranting about whatever you want. It's not my strength, so I'm not going to do it. Are you an incredibly technical person? Do you have technical knowledge that is not widely known? If so, you can use that to your advantage as well. You can make technical videos where you're conveying this knowledge in an easy way to follow. Make it clear and concise. Make it so you are the voice of knowledge on that topic area. If nobody's doing it, that's a huge strength. That's a huge benefit for you. If you're first to market with a video like that, an entire channel focused on that can be huge. Or are you crazy like me and you're willing to waste all your time, all your money? Are you on the spectrum? Are you autistic like me, where you are willing to make the exact same video and spend all your money every single week, never ending forever, because companies will always have new microphones, knowing that you'll never find that final microphone. You'll never buy your last mic because it's never going to end. You're in your own personal repetitious hell. You're never escaping this thing alive. If that's you, start testing. I do enjoy what I do. I'm just ribbing myself and my entire existence for the absurdity of what it is. Okay. I hope that was helpful. Alex, was it Alex? I hope that was helpful. Best of luck to you. Let me know how everything goes in a couple of months, what you've done to improve, and how people are enjoying it.